And greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally with another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. We're here every Saturday and Sunday morning from 8 o'clock until 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we're here for you. We're here to share information, hopefully that you can appraise it and decide if it fits you. There's a lot of ways to become healthier. There are many principles that we can use that will improve our health. We don't have to depend on drugs. We don't have to depend on doctors who don't know anything about nutrition or health. They study diseases, and they study drug therapy, and they listen to the drug companies as to what drug to use for what disease. And many times, what they call a disease are just a collection of symptoms that have been caused by not eating correctly, not getting all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that the body requires to be healthy. If you don't put all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients in the body through food, there are signs and symptoms that occur as a deficiency of some vitamins and minerals. But they're classified as diseases so that drug companies can treat them, and the only drug companies can treat them. Only with drugs. You can't make a claim for any natural supplement or any natural means to cure a disease. But they're all, today, the conditions that are being treated with drugs are primarily caused by a deficiency of vitamins and minerals or the wrong selection of foods. And that's why we're trying to get these across to whoever wants to listen and make the effort with discipline to change their lives. Our health is dependent on good health and nutrition, vitamins and minerals, the accessory food factors like polyphenols, polysaccharides, things that occur in food that we need every day. But people today don't eat a healthy diet, and then they have all kinds of side effects based on oxidative stress and inflammation. The increased level of carbohydrates, the excessive level of carbohydrates, all carbohydrates, simple and complex, and sugar and vegetable oils are the main causes of inflammation. And 98% of all disease has the underlying factor of inflammation. So we want to put out that fire within our bodies. The inflammation that causes pain, but also causes many other conditions like heart disease that may not necessarily have pain, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity. These don't have pain, but they're caused by an inflammatory process. We are a nation of inflammation. We want to put out that inflammation and reduce oxidative stress. And that can be done very easily, by changing our diet. And that's why we want to talk about the various aspects of health and nutrition on the Terry Talks Nutrition radio show, Saturday and Sunday. You can listen live locally as far as the station can broadcast our program. And we have about 20,000 listeners on Saturday and Sunday. Terry Talks Nutrition has over 250,000 followers, fans, that like to follow us to see what we have to say. There are many people out there that want to make changes, but no one educates to the extent of what we should be doing. The government doesn't care. The drug companies don't want you to be healthy because sick people are their customers. And doctors are caught in between. When they go to med school, they learn drug therapy. They don't learn health and nutrition. And that is the greatest prevention of disease, is good health. If you have good health, we won't have diseases. And if we do have viral conditions, like viral infection or bacterial infection, it would be minor. And not die from it, but be minor. So we want to be healthy, and that begins with food is your best medicine. You can't get away from it. We were born and created on this earth to resupply the body of the nutrients we need through food, good proteins, good healthy fats. We need fats. We have gone so long brainwashed thinking that fats are bad for us. Yes, there are some fats that are bad for us, like the vegetable oils, or margarine, or artificial spreads, or hydrogenated shortening, or hydrogenated nut butters. There are bad fats for us, but there are very, very healthy fats as well. There are no necessary or essential carbohydrates or sugar. We don't need it. And look where it has taken us today. When we became brainwashed, thinking that fats were bad for us, many people gave up fats entirely or reduced their fats drastically. What's left? Carbohydrates and sugar. So in the last 70 to 80 years, people have depended on carbohydrates and sugar. And now we have a nation of all races, Hispanic, Caucasian, African American, that are obese. 50% are obese. Oh, I would just say just shy of 50%. Okay? 42% of white Caucasian are obese. 44% Hispanics. And 48% of African Americans are obese. We are the sickest country in the world. And yet we have, or should have, the best medical care possible. The best education possible. But it's all based on drug therapy. Everything is slanted to taking a drug for something. People are on many, many drugs, prescriptions. 7, 8, 9, 10 prescriptions per day. We don't know the consequences of those combinations. All the drugs have some side effects. Mild, severe, and deadly. But when you put them all together, when you combine 7 or 8 prescription drugs in the body in a day, we have no idea what kind of condition that is being caused. We have no idea. When we combine drugs, that makes a greater degree of side effects. We are a walking time bomb. And many of these drugs require other drugs to try to reduce the side effects of the initial drugs. This is the country of drug therapy, and it should be food therapy. And today we're going to talk about a number of things. We're going to be talking about pain. It never goes away. Hundreds of millions of people have pain. Now, I can tell you how to reduce pain fast and effectively. We'll talk about elderberry. You may have heard of elderberry during this last year and a half, 2 years, how it has an effect on viral infection. We'll talk about why, because it really has gone mainstream. We'll talk about sleep medication and how it affects the older adults. Now here's a fitness check for everyone. These are basic exercises that everyone should be able to do. You don't have to join a gym. You don't have to do outlandish exercises. You just have to be more active. And there are some exercises that makes it very easy and simple. Now, I talked about fats being necessary. Well, here's some research that says reducing your risk of heart disease can be easily accomplished by increasing dietary fat. Eating more fats. The right kind, of course. And how about breast awareness? Breast cancer awareness for men. One of my favorite products that I take every day is Korean Red Ginseng. There's a big difference between red ginseng and white ginseng. It is stress reduction, increased energy levels, and it's the oldest adaptogen in the world. Been used for thousands and thousands of years. We have a lot more that we can rely on for the next hour, but I'm sure we won't get through half of what we already talked about. And remember, if you want your family members within the listening, broadcasting area, tell them about Terry Talks Nutrition Show, or even those that are outside, maybe even in a different country. They can listen anytime, anywhere around the world. They can listen actually at the same time, live, with us right now. Even if they're in India or Australia, New Zealand. We have a lot of listeners in countries around the world. You don't have to listen live because you'd have to change your times to be on the same time we are here in the Central Standard Time in the USA in Green Bay, Wisconsin. But you can go into the terrytalksnutrition.com website and you can pull up any radio show that piques your interest and listen at your convenience. We archive the radio shows. We archive our newsletter. When you go into the website, register for the newsletter. It'll go off to your email address every Friday. And you can also read all those newsletters that have been written in the past by just bringing them up at your convenience and read as you like. And if you're searching for something, you're searching for a certain condition or a certain herbal extract, type it in the search section of the e-newsletter section, and 3, 4, 5 newsletters will come up related to whatever you have typed in to search. Very easy. You can learn all kinds of good information just by going to your computer. It doesn't cost you a cent. read and become more educated. And as you know, my goal this year is to write 9 or 10 books. I have 6, I think, done already. I have written 6 books this year on pain, anxiety, antigraphis, grapeseed extract, melatonin, all kinds of books. You can find them at Amazon.com and also at TerryTalksNutrition.com. Very inexpensive and gives you a wealth of knowledge. So let's talk about our featured topic, how to have fast relief for pain. Natural pain relief. Why do I say natural? Well, if you're going to use a drug, it's synthetic, right? It's never been on the face of the earth until the drug was manufactured in a laboratory. But natural pain relief comes from natural compounds that nature produces, such as curcumin, a spice that has been used in Asian countries, particularly in India, for thousands and thousands of years. It's an active compound. It's more technically known as a polyphenol, a compound that the body can use for a variety of healing conditions. And it is found in the root of the turmeric plant, or turmeric. But it's there in the root at a very small percentage. About 2 to 4% of the root contains curcumin. But not enough for it to relieve some of the serious pain or to heal some very serious conditions like cancer. So researchers have found to concentrate it up to 95%, not 2%, but 95%, and still it is not easily absorbed out of the intestinal tract. Yes, it stays in the intestines, it stays in the colon, and it has value there too, because we deal with tumors, with polyps, with cancer in the intestinal tract, in the gastrointestinal tract, the stomach, the colon. So curcumin is advantageous in the intestines and the colon. But now every cell in the body would benefit from curcumin if we could find a way to increase the absorption of curcumin out of the intestinal tract into the bloodstream. And as the bloodstream circulates, it's like the streams and the rivers of a city. And it's used for circulating water throughout the environment. The blood is used to circulate oxygen, nutrients, compounds that are necessary for the health of our body. It's the delivery system. But we can show how to increase curcumin based on scientific research by binding curcumin to turmeric essential oils. Oils increase the absorption of curcumin by 700%. And then it reduces the intensity of muscle pain, reduces damage to joints and muscles, like arthritis, like injuries. And it has a very powerful anti-inflammatory effect. In fact, at MD Anderson Hospital in Houston, Texas, studies done there have shown that curcumin is one of the most powerful, even including drugs, the most powerful anti-inflammatory compound, including steroids and other drugs. Now, clinical trials have been done on curcumin to prove its safety and effectiveness. It reduces pain. And when you reduce pain, you improve and increase performance of the entire body. You walk better, you walk straighter, you have a better posture, you can walk faster. Whatever you're doing, when you reduce inflammation of the muscles and the joints, you perform better overall. It also shows that it speeds recovery after exercise or activity. If you go on a tour, at the end of the day, oh my gosh, I could hardly keep up with the tour. I'm tired, I want to go to bed. But taking curcumin speeds up the recovery of all activity. It reduces exercise-induced inflammation. When you also take a look at Boswellia, Boswellia is another type of plant, it's a tree rather, that is tapped or scraped, the bark is scraped, and it oozes out a sap to repair the slashing or the scarring of the tree. And this sap is collected and pulverized because it dries into a hard teardrop. It's called the Tears of India. So a combination of curcumin and Boswellia. Now here's some research on this combination along with black sesame seed oil. They have done research in India on a blend of compounds, curcumin, Boswellia, DLPA, and nattokinase. It has been used successfully around the world for the past 15 years to reduce pain. But not everybody gets as much relief as they would like or fast enough. So the researchers in India put on their thinking cap and went to work. And they came up with a combination of curcumin and Boswellia and black sesame seed oil. And why the oil? They have used the black sesame seed oil in Ayurvedic medicines in India for thousands of years. It increases the absorption. Now you have curcumin bound to turmeric essential oils and black sesame seed oil, which even further increases the absorption. Now, in healthy adults with pain, took an herbal pain blend or an OTC pain drug. So half the patients in the study took the combination of curcumin, Boswellia, and black sesame seed oil. And the other half of the research group took a pain drug, OTC pain drug, like acetaminophen, or otherwise known as Tylenol, once a day in the morning for 7 days. The proprietary herbal pain blend, the natural pain blend, consisting of curcumin and Boswellia, combined with black sesame seed oil, about 1,000 milligrams. That's 2 soft gels. Half the study group got that combination. The other half took a drug, Tylenol, 1,000 milligrams, 2 tablets. Now you've got half of the patients taking a natural pain relieving blend and half taking an OTC pain relieving drug. Which one fared better? Which one performed better? Which one was the safer of the two? Well, both groups, the pain relieving drug, the natural combination of curcumin and Boswellia and black sesame seed oil, both groups had equally effective pain relief. That means curcumin and Boswellia, black sesame seed oil, performed as effectively as a drug like Tylenol. Now, there's a bonus when you get that kind of results with a herbal blend. There are no side effects. With Tylenol is the leading major factor for liver disease and liver toxicity and liver damage. There are more people dying from Tylenol. Up to 16,000 people die every year, even on the recommended daily dosage. No one dies from curcumin and Boswellia and black sesame seed oil. There are no side effects. And while both groups performed admirably to relieve pain, the herbal pain blend was 8 times better in reducing the emotional aspects of acute pain. And by that, everybody, I just looked at the clock and I've got to take a break. I'll come back here with more, so don't go away. We have a lot more to cover the next portion of the program. We're here to the top of the hour. And I want to tell you more about how everybody's complaining about pain. Let's find the best solution for your pain relief. And you can be healthier and happier and perform admirably. You can do things you never thought you could do before. So we'll come back right here on Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm Terry Naturally. And greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally. We're back here with Terry Talks Nutrition. We are here always on Saturday and Sunday, 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. You can get to us on the radio in the local listening area. You can go anywhere you are. You can listen on your computer. Or you can go to your computer and bring up the past radio shows that are archived there for you to listen at your leisure, at your convenience. And even take it with you, wherever you go. In the first half of the program, we talked about pain relief. You probably thought you will never get rid of your pain, but you can. Very quickly and safely. We're talking about a study of the herbal pain blend, which consisted of curcumin and Boswellia, and emulsified with black sesame seed oil, against acetaminophen, otherwise known as Tylenol. And Tylenol is the number one major factor for liver disease. There are more liver transplants caused by excessive use of Tylenol. Not more per day, but for a long period of time. They were still taking the same recommended dosage daily, but it doesn't relieve pain effectively as well. So they continue to use it for a long period of time. When they tested the herbal blend against acetaminophen, they were equally as effective. But there's a big bonus, because there are no side effects with the herbal blend. If you're taking acetaminophen, you have a good chance of causing liver disease. You may not think of that. And Tylenol and all of these other OTC drugs that are sold over the counter would appear to be safe because they're not required to be prescribed. When a drug is required to be prescribed, that means it needs to be monitored by a physician because there are consequences, side effects, that could cause serious side effects. But because you can walk into any pharmacy or convenience store and buy Tylenol. You can buy in the gift shop in the airport. So it gives you more comfort to know, hey, this is not prescribed, so it's got to be fairly safe, right? The FDA would never put it on the market, right? If it had any side effects? Baloney. I wish I could use another word for that. But that's the best I could do on the air. Baloney. Because they have major side effects. 16,000 people die every year. Will you be one of them? Could be. So let's take the herbal blend. And this combination, the herbal blend was given to half of the patients. The other half of the patients got Tylenol. And while they were equally as effective, in the herbal blend, 2 soft gels, and the results detectable within the first dose. That means as soon as 1 hour after taking the combination of curcumin, Boswellia, black sesame seed oil, or that combination, and no adverse effects. So look for this combination of curcumin, Boswellia, and black sesame seed oil. It is designed to get rid of acute pain very, very fast. And the study has proven that to be effective. Now, this is not just for muscle pain. In rheumatoid arthritis, patients that are trying to recover with drugs found that curcumin reduced pain and swelling more effectively than the prescription drug, and 14% of patients in the drug group could not tolerate the drug and therefore dropped out of the study because of serious adverse effects. While no one dropped out of the herbal group, 0 patients, because they could tolerate the herbal blend, and they did not want to drop out, because they were getting results. They knew it. Now, in a study of curcumin versus ibuprofen in arthritic patients, curcumin group had less pain and had better ability to walk upstairs and walk a further distance safely and effectively than the ibuprofen group, and the curcumin group did so without adverse effects, but ibuprofen causes heart disease and strokes in some people. Not everyone, but some people. You just don't want to be that some people. So when you're taking a drug, you are always rolling the dice. You don't know what number is going to come up, right? And when you roll the dice with drugs, your number could be coming up. You have to think about that. I'm not against you taking drugs if that's what you really, really want to do. I believe in freedom. Free to choose as you want. But you have to weigh the consequences. You have to weigh the good versus the bad ratio. Curcumin plus Boswellia has shown to relieve arthritis pain more effectively than a prescription drug, NSAID drug. 14% of the patients were pain-free, even after 3 months after the study was done. And those patients were asking to keep on the on the herbal blend because they felt so good. And they had no side effects. Now, 7% of those that were on the drug were pain-free. So you could take from the conclusion of the study that the herbal group is more effective, gives better results, were pain-free even after 3 months, after the study was completed, and they had no side effects. You're always going to have side effects with drugs. You may not always feel the symptoms, but there are always going to be side effects. So how do you relieve your pain fast, effectively? You take a combination of curcumin, Boswellia, which is actually emulsified with black sesame seed oil. 1,000 milligrams of the blend. 2 soft gels equals 1,000 milligrams of the blend. Take 2 at one time, up to 3-4 times a day if you need to. No one knows if we need to. And no significant adverse effects or side effects. Now, the past year and a half, anything that would help the immune system sold out. The supply of natural ingredients could not meet the demand because people in general who never probably would have shopped in a health food store, never took a vitamin supplement in their life, but they wanted in all of their prayers avoid COVID-19. Some people did very well avoiding COVID-19. Some who tested positive had very little symptoms, and maybe even no symptoms. Some got really sick. I have a good friend, 2 weeks flat on their back at home. Felt like 2 trucks ran over them every day. They were in horrible condition. Their doctor begged them to go to the hospital. And my friend said, if I go to the hospital, I'm never going to come out. I'm not going. Their oxygen level was down to almost nothing. They were at a major crisis. And luckily, the next day it turned around. Some people died. What makes the difference? Why do some only have mild? Some have major side effects, major, horrible side effects. And some die. I am convinced from all the research I've done, we have a natural vaccine that resides in our body called the immune system. So the immune system protects us against foreign invasion of bacteria, viruses, and fungal infection. 4 vitamins, 2 minerals are the required nutrients that rebuild, repair, and strengthen for a stronger immune effect. Now, if just 1 mineral is missing, or 1 vitamin is missing, it breaks the strength of the chain. And we can have a viral effect greater because of that missing link. So we want all the nutrients. And then there are other natural compounds like antigraphis, propolis extract, and elderberry. These are three natural compounds, or I should say plants, that are growing. But sometimes we can't grow enough to meet the demand. And as I said before, people were buying products to strengthen their immune system, to try to escape or at least tolerate in a more safe manner the viral infection, to calm it down, to prevent the cytokine storm, the highly inflamed area that kills people. No one wants to be sick. No one wants to die. And unfortunately, people did not get through this very well. And one of the most common plants, which I love, I still swear by antigraphis and propolis. They're both multi-antimicrobial. I think elderberry got a lot more press, which it deserves, but antigraphis and propolis extract are, I think, more powerful than elderberry. So these plants have to be growing. And they only can grow so much, and not every year is going to be a bountiful year. The last year, elderberry had a very short crop, very scarce crop. But it still was the top selling herb in the mainstream channel. People were looking for it because they heard about it. They didn't know nothing about it. But they heard from card clubs, dance groups. Oh, I'm taking elderberry, and I feel fantastic. You know, we influence other people, not because they know anything or we know anything, but we influence people because we talk about it and how we have used it and we like it. Now, elderberry is number one. It moved up from number 3 in 2019. Sales in 2020 increased by 150%. This year, there is not a great, bountiful crop of elderberry. It was a very low-grade crop last year. But it still is number one in demand. Horehound is another herb that's found in cough drops. Number 2, cranberry is number 3, turmeric is number 4, or curcumin, and this one boggles my mind, apple cider vinegar. With greater popularity and sometimes limited supply comes a greater risk of fake products. So you have to choose elderberry from a reputable manufacturer. When some of the best companies in the industry could not get elderberry anymore because the crop was gone, there were still elderberry products sold on Amazon like crazy. And they could not figure this out. We can't get it, but some of the unknown companies, nameless companies, are selling elderberry. So they said something's wrong. So they went out and bought 25 elderberry products from mass market, where usually they don't care what they sell as long as it brings in money. They're not like a health food store that believes in what they do. Mass market sells what sells. and they have no belief in it whatsoever. You could not ask anybody in the aisles of what elderberry can do. So this company bought 25 products off of Amazon and mass market. And they all varied, but none of them had enough elderberry in them to make any benefit. And several of them had no elderberry in them. No elderberry. And one of the last ones they tested, the label said elderberry extract with vitamin C and vitamin D. Sounds great, right? When you first look at the capsules that were in the bottle, the powder in the capsules were white. Have you ever seen elderberry? Elderberry is so rich in the color purple, it almost looks black. So when you have a tablet or a capsule, the capsules and tablets are purple or black. Now when you have a white powder in a capsule and you claim it's elderberry, what the heck are you selling? So this capsule was analyzed in a laboratory. It said elderberry extract with vitamin C and vitamin D. The powder, based on the lab analysis, was oat flour. O-A-T. Oats. Oat flour. Not elderberry. But who would know that? Because most people buying elderberry in mass market and Amazon are only buying it because they hear it may be good for you. They have no idea what it should look like. It also did not contain any vitamin C or vitamin D. It was absolutely just bogus. And people are spending their money on adulterated products because they have little or no knowledge of dietary supplements. This is a shame. Somebody is screwing somebody. So with greater popularity and sometimes very limited supply of these natural compounds comes the greatest risk of fake products. So you want to buy from a company you trust. Elderberry can have tremendous effects because it blocks the uptake of the virus into the cell. The cell wants to get into your, the virus wants to get into your cell. That is their home. And there they start manufacturing their damage. And just as a side note, there are four vitamins, A, C, D, and E, and 2 minerals, zinc and selenium. Now I see a lot of times in the health circles, they talk about zinc and vitamin D, or zinc, vitamin D, and vitamin C. Very rarely do I ever see anything about selenium. And from all the research I've done with hundreds of studies, and I've read many of them, at least the abstract and the conclusion, and I believe selenium, in this case of COVID-19, is the hero. If you're not taking selenium, and I'll tell you why I would want you to. Selenium is more scarce than gold. And it is more valuable than gold in terms of your health. When a virus enters the body, these 4 vitamins and 2 minerals. And it could be elderberry, it could be antigraphis, it could be propolis. They go to work. And they jump into action, and they make the immune system stronger, healthier, and more aggressive in fighting the virus. If we are lacking selenium, the virus turns into a killer virus. They call it virulent. It's a virulent virus, only because of the lack of selenium. In studies on animals and humans with a deficiency of selenium, the virus turns into a killer. If we have plenty of selenium in an animal or a human, we may get mildly sick. A few may get moderately sick, but they will tolerate it and they'll come out healthy. When there is no selenium in the body of the animal or the human, the virus turns deadly. It mutates to a much stronger strain of virus. And, if you talk about mutation, where does mutation come from? Where does that virus come after it mutates? Well, it comes from your body. It comes from somebody. And that, when it escapes that person's body by coughing or sneezing or whatever, they're releasing a more dangerous mutation, a deadly mutation, than ever before. And worldwide, there are 2 billion people that are deficient in selenium. There's a very large area of China, and even where the outbreak of the virus was, that is deficient in selenium. All North and the complete continent of Europe is deficient in selenium, and in many areas of the United States. If you're not eating a healthy diet, you're pretty much guaranteed that you do not have selenium in your body. And it makes a difference in viral infection and the degree of the strength of the virus, and whether or not it will turn into a deadly, lethal virus. And then that is being spewed out on everybody else. I think selenium is the hero of blocking viral infection. And also, too, there's good research on taking 200 micrograms of selenium per day. And the FDA has said there's no concrete evidence yet, but it seems to have an effect reducing the risk on breast, prostate, and colon cancer. Selenium, all we need is about 100 to 200 micrograms per day. The maximum we should have, and not more, is 400 micrograms. It's a very, very important nutrient. It's a trace mineral. That means it's in a very, very trace quantity. It's not like calcium. We have 1,200 milligrams of calcium. This is only 100 or 200 micrograms of selenium. And there are not many foods today that have a content of selenium that can benefit us. I would recommend highly to make sure the product you choose has selenium in it, or find a good combination of zinc and selenium. That would be a really good combination. With that, my friends, again, I'm out of my time. This is the end of the program today for Saturday, but you'll know I'll be back here on Sunday, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And start thinking about your health. You have every opportunity and every choice to change your health. You can change your health, no one else. Say a prayer for this crazy, crazy, insane world. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you for listening to Terry Talks Nutrition Weekly Show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, including Apple, Google, and iHeartRadio.